My name is Link, yes, I'm the savior of our world. I killed off Ganondorf and even got the girl. But now I'm stuck with someone different for my bride. Thus was the downfall of the great hero of time. I'll tell you my sad story now, invite the earth to cry. The story I call my inner life.
Hey guys, Caleb here, back again with more Bad Fanfiction Theater, and we are at the end.
Yes.
I do not hear your cries of excitement. We are at the end.
Woohoo! I don't even be enthusiastic about it. We're just like, we accept this with the inevitability of like something because
It's horrible.
it's horrible.
So,
I've actually been wanting to read crappy Twilight fan fiction. Like, I would consider that a step up. I would feel relieved to read a stupid story about Bella and Edward.
well, with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, shall we finish this?
If we must.
Please, let's just get this donkey show over with.
Then let's go! We are currently at, for those reading at home, what business do you have at the Tower of Elders, humans?
Ikuza!
Alright, now let's get this done properly. What business do you have at the Tower of Elders, humans? One of the guardians said, slurred. Is he drunk?
I guess.
I can start any time. I'm the guard here. I've been guarding this place since I was hatched out of an egg. You don't hatch from eggs because you're humans.
We're here to see Lord Dalamar. He has sent word the Griffin Council wishes to... Is that whatever?
That's not spelled properly.
No,
Wishes spelled like that seems to be evocative of like a wish of air or something like that when
Yeah.
you move your hand too fast. Maybe he's farting. Maybe he farted his message out. Do I don't care what griffins do in Jenna's world.
He has sent word the Griffin Council sent word the Griffin Council wishes to speak with us. Link said calmly. The two guards exchanged glances again. Wouldn't the guards know?
You'd
What-
think that they would be informed, yes?
There are two humans going to appear. Make sure you let them in because we're expecting them for important shit. Exchange glances again, their expressions growing even more skeptical, because they really would not have been informed of this. And why wouldn't Dalamar be waiting for you so he could bring you into the place?
You'd think, but no.
What would the High Lord of the Griffin Council want to do with a human? The guard retorted, again in a slurred voice, because they're drunk. Link pushes his horse closer, causing the guards to put their spears in an X across the gate. They're griffins! They'll rip you apart! And what does it matter if you're putting your horse there? What's the horse gonna do? It's a horse! Blocking his entry. He looked at them irritably, his patience growing thin. So is mine. Look, just send for Lord Dalamar and he will tell you himself, Link scowled, his hands tightening on the reins. One of the griffin guards took his spear and placed the tip just inches from Link's chest. I don't know what type of devious plot you're planning here, human, but if you two don't get lost, why not just take them completely out of your city? On top of that, how are you guys not informed that they're coming?
Also, if you're going to with something like that, don't put it right next to their chest because they can just grab it,
Yeah.
put it out of the way because you are not going to be able to control it if they have control of the tip of the blade,
Yeah.
like under the actual point of it. Link could easily disarm that griffin
Yep.
and kick his fucking ass even on horseback.
Yep.
That's dumb.
The guard was cut off by a loud, booming voice.
What the hell are you doing, you
What
motherfucker?
the hell are you doing, you motherfuckers?
I knew someone was gonna do that.
Oh, well, that's basically what it is. What the hell do you two think you're doing? The wrong you're twice now. Dalamar yelled as he appeared in the courtyard just beyond the gates. Lord Dalamar, sir. The guards turned, shocked, and saluted. How did they salute? They're fucking griffins. I don't know. By the fires of hell, you didn't know I was there because you're goofing off. That's why. What? How? What? That? Nobody talks like that. Nobody talks like that. Dalamar said angrily. Now, why haven't you allowed my guest in? Well, maybe because you didn't fucking tell them that they were supposed to. Do you mind if I take the next paragraph
If you
since
want
that was
to go
short?
ahead.
Dalamar, sir. Oh, Dalamar, sir. The guard started. Yes, you heard me right. Dalamar walked closer to the guards until he was practically breathing on them. Open those damn gates and allow them in now. Dalamar snapped, his eyes glimmering with anger. You know, really, while they were irresponsible in what they were doing, kind of basically to blame here because he didn't let them know that humans were coming.
Yep.
As it has stated, griffins don't trust humans, so would they respond any way different to how they do? Like, why wouldn't they just attack them on sight? Yes, sir, the guard said as he fumbled to get the gates open. Pulling the immense brass gates aside, Link and I rode past them and joined Dalamar on the other side. Sorry, my friends, for all of that. I didn't mean for... Link cut him off abruptly, which is what you do in that situation. No worry, my friend. We're just glad that you came along. Dalamar scuffed a laugh. What did he... Did he drag it on the ground? Well, those guards are just young and naive.
No, they're not.
Seemed like they were just doing their job for the most part.
Yeah, I think if anybody was to be criticized for not doing his job here, it's Dalamar.
Yes. Despite so far Dalamar being one of the coolest characters in this story, sometimes he's in the story, so he's going to be dumb as fuck.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
he is actually one of the cooler characters in this story.
yeah, King of the Turds is still a turd.
Yeah.
Getting good help in the armed these days. Who is saying this? Who is saying this? Also, how would you know?
Pushto, can you reread that? You completely cut out for me.
Getting good help in the armed services is not easy these days. Who is saying this, and how would you know? But anyway, my friends, dismount. I will... The quotes.
Yes.
I will have the stable hands take the horses to the stables, which we have for some reason being griffins.
Why does the tower have different set of stables than the rest of the city?
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it would make sense if they weren't a xenophobic society, if they were, like, welcoming of, other races, because then, they'd have a place for their horses. But since it's already been established that they're xenophobic people, they really don't have any reason to have stables.
And...
Unless they're going to eat horses, and they keep them for breeding or whatever to eat horses.
I suppose.
But I mean also... Griffins have wings, and they can fly and stuff. Why is their city laid out in a way where humanoids can apparently find their way around with complete ease and access every part of the city?
I will also say that previously, something I forgot to mention, Jenna explicitly states, has the Griffin character say that because they're so untrustworthy, they're like on a mountaintop, and they have completely blocked off the ability for anyone but other griffins to get up here.
How did they get the fucking horses there then?
Exactly. How did Jenna and Link were able to get in? And then somebody said, well, probably because Dalamar was there. And I'm like, that doesn't matter. The story stated itself that anybody but griffins are blocked passage into the city. So they can't unless somehow they remove those blocks. Which we were never, it never said that they did.
Well, she omits a lot of crap and restates a lot of crap she doesn't need to. We must make haste. The council awaits your arrival, which is kind of redundant to say because obviously you did. Then followed Dalamar inside the tower. Take it away, Law!
Yay.
The enthusiasm.
So
The inside of the...
happiness.
Yay. The inside of the tower was beautiful. The walls were ivory white, trimmed in gold. Wool banners with intricate designs. How do they know the banners are made out of wool? Isn't that a little inconvenient? Wouldn't it, get weird over time?
That's a good point, actually.
Wool banners with intricate designs and patterns hung from the walls by gold cords, while shimmering crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling. That seems a little inconvenient for... As with everywhere else, the floors were made of marble, while beautiful silk and wool furnishing sat upon it. A thick red wool carpet lined... What's with the wool? Do they eat a lot of sheep?
They could. We don't know anything about griffins.
Yeah, it seems odd that all of their decor is apparently made of wool. That seems like
silk.
Yeah.
A thick red wool carpet lined the floor, running all the way to a set of gigantic golden doors. Dalamar stopped just short of the doors and turned to face us. Beyond these doors lies the Griffin Council. I will go tell them of your arrival, Dalamar said as he turned to the two guards standing in front of and nodded to them. Massive gold doors opened with a loud creak, and Dalamar disappeared behind them. The doors then slowly closed behind him, leaving us to wait outside.
Do you know just how inconvenient it would be to have massive gold doors? Gold is freaking heavy.
It's heavier.
Yeah.
Maybe they bought them from Asgard. They have big gold doors.
Decadent for the sake of being decadent. Oh, well. Let's see. I just paced outside the massive golden doors for what seemed like an eternity.
Oh, you mean like reading Mayan Alive?
Yes! Damn it, you beat me to it.
And while I waited,
so
I
sorry.
read a shitty fanfic that took forever to finish. In fact, it took about 3 months.
It seemed like about 3 decades, but, you know...
My eyes just darted from the doors to Link and vice versa, because I considered each to be as interesting as the other.
She says vice versa. Vice versa.
Vice versa. I didn't even notice that.
No, I'm sorry. We only take MasterCard here.
Oh, dear. Yeah, just for the sake of anyone listening, it's not vice versa, it's vice versa.
And it's certainly not vice versa.
It's certainly not vice versa, yes.
Remember, you can't use MasterCard where they take Visa, and vice versa.
Yes, you can.
Well, not in the Griffin world.
Link just watched as I started to wear a hole in the floor.
Here's where the word figuratively would come way in handy.
Yeah, I know, because if she actually did that, that's certainly not going to help their xenophobic attitude.
She's like Uncle Scrooge in that one episode of DuckTales.
Damn it, you're ruining our floor, you humans! Get out!
I can't believe she did it right on the floor.
Well, it is made out of wool, so...
Jenna, you know all that pacing is not going to get them to see us any faster, Link stated flatly, his eyes following me. I know, I'm just nervous, and I hate all this damned waiting. I returned, annoyed, and continued my pacing. Sigh. Overly long
He said the word
ellipses.
sigh.
Yes. And then overly long ellipses. Come on, Jenna. Will you relax and save your energy? You're starting to make me dizzy watching you, Link said as he shifted himself to where he was standing.
Wait,
Or
what?
shifting himself where he was standing. Okay, that's still awkward. Reluctantly, where Link was standing, and sat down near his feet.
Why would you do that?
Nah, she's a cat, apparently. I wonder what they could be doing in there for them to be taking so long to see us. Oh, I don't know why you humans are here and whether it's a good idea to let you into, their council chambers.
Maybe they're discussing how best to season you when they inevitably cook and eat you. Who knows? You're not in there!
I said grimly as I traced patterns along the floor with my finger. I'm not sure, love, but I think they will not leave us out here forever. Overly long ellipses. Just then I heard a creaking sound and our heads jerked up. We gave ourselves whiplash.
The massive golden doors opened and a young male griffin stepped out from behind them. The Council of Elders will see you now, he said as he gestured for us to follow him. I got up and followed Link past the two guards and inside the council chamber. The inside, Capitol, for some reason, was dimly lit by torchlight.
You've got to be careful with torchlight around all that wool.
Yep.
Yeah, really.
Beautiful banners hung from the walls. Expensive gold-trimmed wooden table... Why would it trim wooden tables? Expensive gold-trimmed wooden tables lined them while...
Lined the walls?
I guess.
Do they just have tables tacked up on the walls? Is that because they can fly?
They could, maybe. Well, let's see. Lined them...
Griffins have a weird sense of interior decoration.
Yep. While various vases and porcelain plates... It's not a mess hall for the upper class here. And porcelain plates sat upon their polished surfaces. Then my eyes traced forward to the 5 pedestals where 5 heavily carved oaken chairs sat, with 5 cloaked figures among them. Why would they be cloaked? What
I think
purpose?
I would detect a comma splice.
Why would the griffins be cloaked? They have wings. They're
Why would
griffins.
Why would they wear clothes? Why would they need them?
Link and I walked closer, then knelt down before them. I remembered that it was always customary when in the presence of high authority to place your hand on the hilt of your weapon.
That's
No,
not
that
true.
could be taken as a sign of aggression.
That's totally not true. And how would you know what Griffin High Authority need? You don't know anything about their culture. Even if you know that for humans, which you obviously don't, you completely fucked it up, Jenna. Jenna. Oh my god, Jenna.
Oh my god! What
my
a
God.
bitch!
Even if you know that for humans, you can't take that for granted with griffins.
Right, especially griffins who are, as we have stated earlier,
Extremely xenophobic.
xenophobic. If they see you putting your hand toward the hilt of your weapon, they're probably going to take that as an aggressive stance.
Especially when you're in a council of elders.
Yep. Which they were already reluctant to let you enter, because apparently they don't communicate effectively either.
I watched as Link solemnly placed his left hand on the hilt of his sword, then lowered his head. Why is he solemn about it? On the hilt of his sword, then lowered his head. Mimicking him, I placed my right hand on my phoenix circles, then lowered my head as well.
Then they ate us.
And time for the most stupidest last name I have ever heard.
We sat and you weren't sitting, you were crouching, weren't you? Yes, you were kneeling.
Well, no, they just said they bowed their heads.
Said knelt down before them.
Yep.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. I know this story. It goes in one ear and out the other.
Whatever.
It's
Oh,
just
okay,
like
I
the black-
see it now, I see it
Yeah,
now.
it's like the Black Willy. Um, we sat in that position for a moment, then a soft elderly female voice spoke out. Why do they have human-seeming voices anyway? They've got friggin' beaks. Why do they have humanish voices in the first place? Link, the hero of time, and Jenna Silverblade 23.
Hold on, let me get.
Oh,
And
it's
they-
a footnote. I'm sorry. I
They
thought
screwed up the
they were
footnote too. It's the wrong footnote.
I thought they
Oh,
were
we
re-
started this with footnote with footnote 22, where she put 22 twice, so now she's misnumbering her footnotes. But anyway, footnote 24, not 23.
I thought it was referring to her age at first. I was like, how would they know her age, and why would this be important right now?
I thought it was like an I or C name or something. Silverblade 23.
Footnote 24. Silverblade is Link's last name.
No, it isn't.
Since when?
No, it isn't.
Since now. When I, Jenna, married him, I
You know,
also
I want
acquired the
to-
hero's last name.
I want to say that we should say, because when I read that, this is how I read it. We should call it "When I Jenna Married Him," because it's not any kind of real marriage. It's not any kind of identifiable, resemblance to any sort of actual wedding. It's Jenna married.
Oh,
And
I just realized something. Oh, I'm such a dumb. I just realized something. You remember the bonding ceremony, correct?
Oh, who could forget it?
Well,
Despite my attempts.
this is something Blue mentioned, but it's very prominent now. You remember the condition that the male of the bonding pair could not be with any kind of person of the opposite sex. He couldn't be with a woman alone.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
vice versa as well, or vice versa, as the case
The shopkeeper where she bought the silk was a male griffin.
may. Yep.
Oh snap!
I just realized that.
Well, she forgot about it. She probably assumes that we did too.
Despite the fact that the creepy monks said that they were going to be watching, who knows who's watching and where and why.
Maybe she just presumed that since they were the only ones of ingress to this Griffin society, that the monks wouldn't be there logically, which is kind of a reasonable belief, but we still can hope eternal that those horrible repercussions will come to bear against Jenna.
Indeed.
So back to reading. Link Silverblade's brave deeds have spread across the planet Gaia. There isn't a race known that hasn't heard of Link Silverblade, the hero of time.
That is like the most uninspired surname I've ever heard.
You know what it is? What that surname is? It's what we thought was cool in middle school because we didn't
Yeah.
really know. Like the whole thing with Midnight Star and Star Dancer and the name she's given her original characters thus far, with the exception of perhaps Dalamar. Like any of the Griffins have actually had something that sounds like legitimate names.
Yeah.
It's like you don't really understand what makes a last name good, especially when you're doing your own fantasy story. So you just do the Tolkien thing and grab something that sounds cool with something else that sounds cool and put it together.
Yeah.
And then there you go.
And sadly, you do have a lot of that, even with like very literate authors. That
Yeah.
I mean, I know that surnames were originally intended to tell about someone, like who they were in terms of lineage or what they did for a profession or whatever. But Link Silverblade, really? Also, why would they say Link, the hero of time, and Jenna Silverblade? Obviously, it wasn't important enough to mention Link's surname, so why Jenna's surname? Is it because she had nothing else to distinguish her? Because that
Well,
seems...
typically when you say that, you always say the man's name first, followed by the woman, then the last name. But there's no reason for them to give him the distinction of hero of time before they say his last name. It should really be hero of time Link Silverblade and his wife Jenna, or the hero of time Link and Jenna Silverblade.
I would think that they would say it with his name if they were even a part of that same society. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
these griffins. There's no reason why oh fuck it, just fuck it.
I
Just
know.
fuck it,
I
fuck
mean,
it,
the
fuck
best
it,
thing
fuckity,
in this
fuckity,
story has
fuckity,
been anything to do with the Griffins, because this sounds like she had a better story in mind with the Griffins fighting these dragons and the Dark Lord our ass kiss, but we haven't done anything worthwhile with it. We're just wasting a really good story.
You know what? We haven't done anything worthwhile with this entire story.
Correct.
Nothing. Nothing.
Absolutely nothing!
And Jenna Silverblade 23, please write. Now I'm thinking of it as an IRC nickname like Law said.
And now I'm thinking of it as a court, because please rise and come forth. For some reason, I am thinking of it as a court.
Please rise and come forth. Rising slowly,
No quotes.
Yeah, the female voice is still speaking, apparently. Rising slowly, I got to my feet and moved closer to the ivory pedestals, and the five figures moved out of the darkness and revealed themselves. Oh my. Oh my.
They had the biggest cocks and vaginas I've ever seen.
Especially the woman. Well, apparently this is a thing with griffins. Oh, didn't you know that we're all hermaphrodites and that this council process involves a giant orgy? No, actually we didn't know that. Well, it does. Bend over.
Well, you might say that.
Like they don't know anything about these griffins. Seriously, I know that's a ludicrous example, but they don't know shit about these griffins.
You might say the griffins themselves are the biggest cocks in the world.
No, I think Jenna is, actually. I noted that 4 of the 5 were elderly griffins with grey fur and feathers, and 2 of them were female. Yeah.
How would you know? How can you make that distinction?
I
Do they
was
have
just
their
saying,
cocks out?
like, maybe they really did reveal themselves. And on the left sat Dalamar. The griffin that sat in the center looked to be at least 100-year-old female.
How do you know? You've never seen a griffin before.
Decked heavily in jewelry encrusted with emeralds and rubies around her neck, and brightly colored earrings. Earrings?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hung from her faltering, tufted ears.
Faltering?
I don't
She
think
must really be old.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
The grey feathers around her neck laid flatly against her body, while her wrinkled, clawed hands...
No, that's not how bird feet work.
How do you get wrinkles on talons? How does that actually...
I mean, they already kind of look wrinkled just from the get-go.
And why would her feathers be gray? Birds don't work like that.
Rested on the arms of her... They're not clawed hands either. They're talons. They're not clawed hands at all. They're talons. They're claws.
Well, they do apparently walk upright when they want to.
Why would they... Never mind. Her eyes wore heavy wrinkles around them. I guess you can just switch them out whenever you like. I'd like that. Her eyes wore heavy wrinkles around them, and her beak looked like it had gotten worn over the years. In what way? Was it like filed down to a nub? What happened to it?
Well, I think she just wore it for many years.
I think you're right.
She needs a new one. I decided to go shopping later.
It got worn. Some days she wouldn't wear it, other days she would. But some days it'd just be a gape.
He, dull gray eyes, watched us, scrutinized us, her worn beak sitting gaped open slightly as she begun to speak. Link and Jenna Silverblade, are ye the ones that Lord Dalamar claims to have saved him and saw him safely
What
home?
other humans are there?
Yeah. Moving
Also,
forward,
why is she speaking like this? Why is it ye suddenly?
moving forward slightly, Link bowed his head and answered, "Yes, milady, we are the ones Lord Dalamar speaks of." Link returned formally, his head still bowed. You know, Link Silverblade, we the Griffins never have trusted anyone. But since the Great War hundreds of years ago when the humans enslaved us and forced us to do their bidding, our faith in
Wait,
the humans
what?
has never been the same.
Where did this even come from?
It was
no.
a thing she mentioned earlier in the footnote.
It was
If they enslaved them, then... sorry.
Don't think about it too hard.
Yeah, I made the mistake of thinking.
But you have proven different.
How?
Lost my, I don't know. You
Because
and your
they
wife.
saved Dalamar.
Like, yeah, maybe they offered to take them home or something. Maybe they saved this dude, you know? They could have been setting him up.
Yeah.
They didn't prove anything.
Yeah,
You-
the most that they could say is, well, thank you for picking him up and taking care of him and escorting him back here, but we want you to kind of leave now.
I
Like,
get
no
to try to-
offense, even if you mean well, but, like, get out.
Oh,
You know,
sorry.
they're xenophobic people. They're not really, especially humans, for enslaving them. That's why they, whatever, forget it.
You and your wife, Jenna Silverblade, have risked your lives to travel through the land that Ariakis now controls to safely bring one of our people home.
Why did they feel the need to restate his wife's name?
I don't know.
She's the
they've been
only other
referring to-
person there. There was a human.
They've been referring to
It's-
Link by full name, so why not?
It's
I know, but like, why couldn't they just say you and your wife have risked your lives? Why did they have the Jenna Silverblade, as if there are a bunch of other wives that he could have around that happen to be in the Griffin area?
Well, maybe the Griffins are, they're one husband, many wives. I don't know.
They,
Maybe, but they don't know he has any other wives.
they speak redundantly, too. Not too many humans would go to great lengths to save one of us, but you and your wife have proven that not all humans are bad.
You
Yeah.
don't know this!
The elderly Griffin leaned forward in her chair. However,
Let out a
because of
huge
that
fart.
Yeah. However, because of that distrust among our people, we cannot allow you both to stay here much longer. You stupid people.
Well, no shit.
wow.
They should have been ejected. They should have been seen and gone that day, instead of getting drunk and sleeping in the tavern. In fact, that they would actually be in a lot of danger the longer they stayed in the city. That city doesn't like humans, and it's full of people that don't like humans.
Alrighty. Her tufted ears flattened against her head, her gaze softening. I wish that...
What? Come on, what? You're well within your rights to say you didn't even have... They're not even supposed to be in the city!
Dalamar has informed us that you even risked him when you were ambushed by a
Hey,
set
Hawk?
of draconians. Yes?
Can you reread that, starting with "I wish"?
Okay. I wish that it didn't have to come to this.
They're not even supposed to be in the city!
Dalamar has informed us that you even risked your lives to save him when you were ambushed by a set of draconians. Apparently,
No, they
that's... That's
they
what it-
didn't. They just decided to fight them when they could have easily ran away and just left his ass there. In fact, he did nothing but hide behind a rock to her right, and then get Link off of the Draconian, and that was it.
She tilted her head solemnly.
How do you tilt your head solemnly? How do you do that? How do you tilt... sorry.
Has spread among our people that there's humans in the city and many are not happy.
Yeah, because they shouldn't be in the city!
Some are even rebelling against your presence here.
What?
How? We haven't seen anything like that yet.
How does that even work?
It doesn't. We cannot have an uproar now, even when we need our people to be strong in light of this raging war against our
Oh yes,
darkness.
it's so raging because we've seen so many indications of how horrible it is. Aside from one bumfuck group of dipshits.
So I will have to ask you and your wife to please leave in the morning.
Why not now?
No! They only paid for a
Oh.
night! They don't get a second night to sleep there! They should leave now! There's been plenty of time to rest and everything!
Yeah. Again, I wish it didn't have to come to this.
It's not coming to anything. They're not supposed to be there.
But maybe one day, with the knowledge that there are humans like you, then maybe all of us will learn to trust again.
Shut up!
But the time isn't now.
That's not today.
However, the Griffin Elder looked over to the elderly male Griffin at her right. That's a really awkwardly constructed thought. And took something from his clawed hand. Should you ever need one of us in a time of need?
Which is redundant, of course.
Yes, it's repetitive. The Elder rose to her feet, standing on her hind legs, and walked down the steps in front of Link.
Then she accidentally cock-slapped him because she's not dealing with Cuban.
We will always come to your aid should you ever call.
How?
fucking
Why
from
should
Lord of the
you?
Rings
There's
now?
no reason for this!
Yeah, there's no reason for them to actually trust them to that kind of
I
degree.
swear they're setting it up like the Eagles from Lord of the Rings. I have this terrible feeling that's exactly what's happening.
Yep.
Well, if we actually went anywhere with our ass-kiss plot, that might be interesting to see, but we're not. In fact, I would rather be reading the story that this is trying to set up for than actually reading this story.
Indeed. She outstretched a clawed hand and handed Link a small crystal pendant with the Griffin emblem on top of
The
it.
Griffin emblem?
Yes.
The fuck is the Griffin emblem?
It's
It's a cloaca. It's a cloaca.
It's a griffin with a giant cock.
I've just realised though they would have a cloaca, wouldn't they?
Yeah, of course they would.
They would have a cloaca. It would cloacas everywhere. It's cloacas. It's a griffin symbol. It's a cloaca.
Oh man.
All-purpose orifice.
Yes. Sounds like something out of an infomercial.
You know they did an infomercial about it.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was a parody, but still.
Okay. Sorry. That crystal
Cloacas.
that crystal is a 24 mind glyph. Now we can read about mind glyphs. So again, misnumbered. Instead of 24, it is actually 25. The mind glyph is a small clear crystal with telepathic powers. These small crystals are only owned by the Griffins and are symbolic to their people. It is said that these telepathic crystals are connected directly to the Griffins.
All of them?
Yes, making mind-to-mind communication easy among them. Not too many other races outside their kind own one of these, and only ones truly trusted by the Griffins are so lucky to be given one of these beautiful and rare crystals.
You'd think
Like these people they just met.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they wouldn't compromise their minds that much. I mean, yeah, maybe if it was some sort of a remote communication Skype crystal or something, maybe
Yeah.
that would work. But you can get in touch with apparently the entirety of the Griffin people's minds with this crystal. They're giving it to people of a species that enslaved them, that they've just met and did nothing to win their trust other than bring some asshole who got his ass kicked home.
Those are symbolic to our people, but I want you to have it.
Why is that a but?
You know, it's the same thing Zelda said when she gave Jenna her mother's bracelet. This is my mother's bracelet, but I want you to have it. Should you ever need us, all you have to do is focus your thoughts into a crystal, why is that capitalized, and think of us. All of us here on the council are connected to it telepathically. Just open up your heart and we will answer.
And
So
probably
just stab yourself in the artery.
be appalled at what we find there.
She raised a clawed hand and rested it on Link's shoulder. Her soft, dull eyes, wow, you are very elegant with your words there, gazing into his. We know all about your people. We know all about your great exploits, Link Silverblade,
Uh-oh.
also known as the Hero of Time.
That's so incredibly wordy. No one talks like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you have to give him his Hero of Time label, you don't need that there. Just put a comma there and be like Hero of Time.
Yeah, and there's still always that drama quotes around it, as if
Yeah.
you're not being really serious. You know, it's like the hero of time.
How you saved your entire homeland from a deadly evil threat.
He saved everyone from a deadly evil threat. Everybody in this whole fucking world from a deadly evil threat. You should know about it because the Triforce is sort of a cosmic thing.
But apparently it's not. Restoring peace and prosperity to what it once was.
Except not, because then they have this giant standing army and were fighting wars earlier in this story.
Knowledge of those great heroics is well known throughout our city, even teachings of your great deeds is taught to our... Why?
Why would
They're
that-
human! What does that matter? And plus they're in another country far away where they have to cross over black sand in a dangerous lake to get there. Well, actually, it was a river, not a lake, but whatever.
Yeah, that makes absolutely zero sense, because if they actually knew about him being the hero of time, they would probably
And
be...
that accepting, they wouldn't care that he's in the city.
Yeah.
Where
That-
was I? Oh, okay.
You
I
were done.
finished. Yeah.
You were done, yeah.
I'm so done.
oh, trust. But her gaze suddenly hardened, and her clawed hand moved back to her side, causing the jewelry on her tufted ears to jingle as it moved. Why would her hand moving cause her jewelry on her ears to jingle? Why would that happen? Even in
reasons.
even in light of such bravery, the presence of humans in our city is causing uneasiness among our people,
Which is
which
why
we have...
everybody has been so friendly thus far.
Yeah, and we have just said that there was uneasiness that you don't need to repeat because we just established that. Link bowed his head again, his eyes along the floor. Then he knelt down and picked them up and squeezed them back in. I understand, High Priestesses Alhana... What?
She never introduced herself like that. I'm pretty sure.
And she's-
None of them introduced themselves.
And she's a multiple High Priestesses?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently.
One big griffin. We will leave under your orders in the morning. There is not need for explanations. We have always known that griffins were not always trusting since the time of the Great War, which we have not really established very well, aside from obliquely referring to it a couple of times.
Yeah.
We're sorry that our presence here has been unwanted. Link returned apologetic.
Then why
Alhana...
did you go in the first place when you could have easily just let the griffin heal so he could have flown back on his own? He even said he was going to do that, and you just went with him the next day on horseback.
And, of course, Jenna forced her way in.
Yeah.
It was just Link, because everybody apparently knew Link. But no, they had to complicate it more with Jenna shoehorning her way into yet another unlikely situation, where naturally she gets treated very well and regarded as if she is as good as Link and as important as he is. Alhana put her clawed hand gently under Link's chin, gashing his neck, and... Like, how would you do that? Her hand is probably giant compared to his chin. Put a clawed hand gently under Link's chin, her talon resting... Talon? A single... Oh, never mind. Her talon resting softly against his skin as she slowly lifted his head up and their eyes met. Again, probably would be snapping his neck like a twig. Young warrior, there is no need for apologies. You came here under the pretenses of returning one of our own safely.
Wait,
Pretenses.
so you tricked him to come there. You know, that would have been a much better, because of them explaining about our ass kiss. That would have made so much sense if, like, they were having trouble with our ass kiss, and so they're like, well, we hear about this legendary hero of time. You know, let's go get him. And then they're like, oh shit, he's human. Well, shit, we need him anyway because we have to fight our ass kiss. That would have been a much better story than this. I hate you, my inner life. I hate you, Jenna. I hate you. Because there's a better story here. And I want to read it. But you're an asshole.
You know, just ditto that for me. Except for the better story thing, because even if it sounds promising, nothing Jenna tells can possibly be a better story. It's always...
Yeah.
I don't even remember where I was. Oh wait, yeah, I do. And for that, there is no need for you to be sorry about your presence here.
Except that there is, because your presence here means that our citizens are trying to rebel against us because they don't want you here.
Yeah. There's...
And, you know, that shows that the citizens are really easily frightened people.
Yes. Also, if their presence there is causing a small riot or uprising to occur, why doesn't she tell them to leave now instead of in the morning?
Because Jenna.
Because
Sure.
Jenna.
And then Laura.
And then Laura.
Go for it, Kassie. Oh, no, wait, no, it's
Laura.
Hawkeye, go.
What?
Laura's next.
Laura had to step away for a moment.
Oh, so should I
see,
just go then?
see.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Alright. The elder slowly turned and returned to her seat on the council. When the day comes that our people can learn to trust again, we would be honored if you and your wife, would return here to our great city. But until Link knelt down again and put his left hand on the hilt of his sword. Seriously, that would make me nervous. I can only imagine what it would do to a xenophobic race. There is no need for explanations. Oh my god, this is getting redundant. High Priestess Alhana, we will respect your wishes. Link just sat there. Alhana's gaze shifting from him to me and back to him again. Rise again, young hero, Alhana said as her gaze softened once more. Link rose again, because he'd been killed apparently, and their eyes locked. Always remember of what was spoken here today, and keep that mind glyph close to your heart, for we are forever in debt to you, Link Silverblade.
No, they're
That
not.
overuse of that new
Dalamar
last
might be in
name.
debt to you, but not the entire Griffin Council.
Indeed. I will have High Lord Dalamar show you to the gates. Blade, yes, continuing to use their last name is really awkward. It's obvious that the author is just, like, really proud of that name, the way they keep using it over and over again.
I propose a change to Sizzle Tits.
I'd rather have copper tits.
You'd rather have what?
Copper tits.
Brass boobs. Lincoln and Silverblade, may the goddesses watch over you, Alhana said as Dalamar rose from his chair on the council and came down beside us.
Oh, okay, I found my place. Follow me, my friends. I will have your horses brought to the front, Dalamar said as he walked towards the massive golden doors, then out. We followed Dalamar to the front gates where our horses were saddled and waiting for us. Link and I mounted our horses and then turned to face Dalamar one last time. I want to thank you again, my friends, for accompanying me on my journey and seeing me safely home, Dalamar said appreciatively.
No, appreciably, it's different.
Yeah, appreciatively. His crystal blue eyes... Why are they still crystals? His crystal blue eyes glistening under the sunlight. No need for that. It is all in the hero's line of work. Or how about a person who will actually help, not just to be a hero? That's actually kind of selfish of you. I swore by the very code to help those in need. What code? What code? You were selected by gods to bear the Triforce of Courage. Or is this Jenna talking?
Who knows? At any given time.
I swore by the very code to help those in need, and I strongly adhere to that code. Link returned solemnly. Okay, it was Link speaking. It was a pleasure to accompany you here. My wife and I had always wanted to see the magnificence of the griffin. How do you know? Nobody mentioned anything about griffins until we suddenly smelt blood and sulfur and heard whimpering. And then suddenly griffin. Dalamar laughed huskily. Well, my friends, I'm sure glad that you did join me, or I might have ended up as roasted griffin meat for the Draconians.
That's tacky, and also, does the Griffin City not have a name? Did they just call it the Griffin City? Isn't that kind of sad?
Yes. We spent all our time coming up with the Griffin Council and the last name Silverblade. We don't have enough creativity to call a city by its name. However, we do have enough of a brain cell to realize that for some reason the local tavern should have a name, but we're not clever enough to give it a decent name, just call it Griffin's Vineyard.
Kassie, I couldn't hear you for the past couple of sentences. You would cut in and out. Yeah.
Oh, I was ranting about how we spent all our creativity coming up with the last name Silverblade and the Griffin Council, but the only thing else that she really named was the tavern, which is the Griffin's Vineyard.
Why would it be the Griffin's Vineyard? Wouldn't it just be the vineyard?
I don't know.
I guess.
Why would it be specifically the Griffin's Vineyard? Because they're a Griffin-exclusive city.
Not only are they xenophobic, but they're also a self-centered race.
Like, that would be like me opening a tavern and calling it the Human's Drinking Spot. Who would do that? Link's gaze suddenly hardened. Do you think that Ariakas is planning an attack against your people? Well, it would be very odd if he didn't, Link said darkly. Dalamar's face faltered, yet again faltering. You keep using that word. The tuft's ears resting flatly against his head. I cannot be too sure, despite the fact that we've mentioned it like 15 times so far, but the council is going to prepare in case we will have to go to war.
Weren't you already in war? This guy has been attacking you for a while now. He nearly killed you. He's tried to kill one of the leaders of the city. I'm pretty sure that's an immediate declaration of war. If you try to assassinate somebody's leader.
Yeah, that would kind of be something where you'd go, you know, you're an asshole and we're going to kick your ass.
Mm-hmm.
We're already preparing the troops for heavy combat and upping security along our borders, so apparently not very much. I'd say we're safe. We're safe. For now. Dalamar returned flatly, his expression darkening. Well, we wish you all the best of luck, and should you ever need us, you know where to find us, Link said as he turned He-Stallion towards the gate. Take it away, Law.
Thank you again, my friends, and maybe the goddesses see your safe return back to Hyrule. Sorry, I got lost there. Dalamar said as he gestured for the guards at the gates to open it. The clank sound filled the air as the heavy brass gates slid open, allowing us to pass. What's with all the heavy metals? I'm surprised nobody's tried to rob them yet. Like, just steal a door.
Maybe that's what Ariakis is after.
Yeah, let me just take one door. It'd be worth millions. With one look back, we waved one last time back at our newfound friend before departing into the marble streets.
Marble?
Yes.
Why are the streets made out of marble?
Because
That's
they
horrible.
are. That's what she... When they entered the city, everything was white. The streets were made of marble. Tall white stone buildings.
But they're griffins. They're like
Yeah.
park cat. You ever throw a cat on a slick floor? It'd be sliding and falling all over the place. Link and I remained quiet for a short time, listening to the clicking sound of the horses' hooves on the marble roads as we rode. Wouldn't the horses be sliding too? Because that would be extremely slippery.
Probably.
Then finally, it was I who broke the silence. Responded. Do you think we should start heading back to Hyrule now instead of tomorrow? I mean,
Finally, somebody said something smart.
Wow. I think the sooner we get back, the better. I returned fervently, my hands twitching nervously on the reins. Why is she having a seizure? Link looked over at me with eagerness in his eyes.
Oh, don't look at me like that.
I was just thinking the same thing, love. We need to hurry back with the information we possess.
What information? So what? Just look out for our ass kiss and worry about him if he starts approaching your city.
Did they actually learn anything?
No.
Does Jenna ever learn anything?
Zelda must be informed of what we encountered on our way here, Link returned.
Why? You already knew of our ass kiss and that he had
Wait.
dragon attack Batmans. What? You didn't learn anything other than what you already knew.
I agree. So are we heading out now? I questioned. Yes, we are. I think we should get back before anything else happens. Yeah, God forbid anything exciting goes down in this story. That was pretty short, so I'll take the next one if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Evading the Shadow.
Finally! Thank God, a new chapter! Holy crap!
The trip back was quiet for the most part, although we did worry about Draconians patrolling the skies, or Dark Knights on ground patrol,
Yeah, you're telling
or
us
my
again.
severe flatulence.
You're telling us again, Jenna. You're not. You're describing in summary something that happened, rather than actually illustrating the fact that this happened and this happened and this happened. She only ever dwells on shit that doesn't matter.
Yep. We kept on trails that were mainly concealed, avoiding open areas or staying in one place for too long. We rode all turns sleeping on horseback.
We rode all night to get to
Okay,
Hyrule.
granted, I don't know much about riding horses, but how do you sleep while riding a horse?
It's not easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's...
I mean, it's possible, but you don't really, like, these two would, unless, never mind.
I was going to say, the
Jenna,
only way I could see this is if they got off their respective horse, tied it to the other person's horse by the reins, and then that person got on behind the other person on the same horse, and then maybe tied their hands or something around the waist of the person, and then slept that way, just as dead weight on the other person's back. But whatever.
It's probably best not to think about it.
Let's see. I was the first one to sleep, while Link guided my horse by rope. Then we switched and I took the lead, guiding his horse till morning. Is that a metaphor?
I don't want to know what it means. I don't want to know.
We ate dried meat and cheese for breakfast, then stopped at the Snake River to wash up and refill our water skins. We built another makeshift raft, because somehow you have enough ability to do that when you could just, use the horses to go across, because I'm pretty sure they would sink a raft. And then crossed the treacherous river. Once on the other side, we disposed of the raft. Okay, I just want to say something. What happened to the other raft that you made to go to the Griffin City? I'm pretty sure it would have still been there and probably would have been okay to use, because you were only gone for like 2 days. But anyway, disposed of the raft and covered up our tracks so we could not be followed. Who would be following you? They didn't attack you until you were in the Black Mountains. You are out of the Black Mountains now. We rode all the way...
How could you cover up your tracks so as not to be followed? You didn't leave tracks in the river.
We rode all the way to the Black Desert. You have to be in the Black Desert to cross Snake River. You were forgetting your own geography. Black Desert without stopping to rest, since we were close to... You're already in his lands. You're not at his border. He didn't attack you in the Black Desert. Whatever. Our ass kissed his border. Once we arrived at the Black Desert... Whatever. We wrapped our heads with damp rags and gave some water to the horses before crossing the hot desert.
The trek across the Black Desert was long and treacherous. The heat was immense, and the sand caused my mouth to dry out.
What?
I nearly drank all my water before we finally reached the desert border. Once we left the desert behind, we found a small river and stopped to rest and wash up again. Link and I sat under a Hugh burlap tree. I don't know what species the Hugh burlap is, but I presume it must be a large, shady tree.
It's capitalized, too.
Yes, the Hugh burlap tree. Enjoying the shade it provided while we ate bread and cheese. How did you manage? That's what I'd like to know, because...
How's your cheese not all funky, too?
Yeah, you'd think that the cheese would be funky, and the bread would be, like...
Well,
something you
stale.
could
Yes.
like, that could be a valid weapon by now. Unless they, like, magically got bread that was somehow made by griffins, because they would somehow make bread in their griffin home, whatever, God knows what they made it out of. But unless they got that stuff right before leaving, they've been away for, like, days and days and days. I mean, yeah, the dried meat and maybe some cheese, maybe certain kinds of cheese, I could, maybe give a pass. But bread? How does that even work? I would like to know, because I love fresh bread, and there's no way it lasts longer than, like, 3 days, at maximum. And even then, you have to put it in, like, the microwave or something and get it a little soft, and that only lasts for, like, 30 seconds before it's puck again. So... just like to know here. Just if Jenna knows something we somehow don't know, I'd just like to know.
I sincerely doubt that.
Yeah, you and me both. Then, feeling my eyes growing heavy, I cuddled into Link's arms and took a well-deserved nap. Well-deserved? What did you do?
I bitched.
You're in the fucking desert. Why would you take a nap in the desert?
Link awoke me a short time later, then we resumed heading home. We finally arrived back in Hyrule just before nightfall. The pinkish lavender-coated skies reached its hand across Hyrule Field. These sentences are so awkward.
Yes, and she has a problem with, like, singular and plural.
Notice
Yeah.
that their trip home only took, like, 2 days, whereas going to the Griffin Council took, well, about 2 days because they were attacked. But they haven't been attacked here, so they should have made better time.
I would feel giving it even more immense beauty. We headed for the drawbridge and crossed it just before it was raised for the night, where they just, slide across as it's going up.
Yeah.
We, excuse me, rode all the way to the first gate where my old friend Perino was on guard duty. We
He's
approached
always
him.
on guard duty.
He's probably the only one they've got.
No, she identified somebody else, but I don't remember if he got a name or not.
Sizzle tits.
As we approached him, he jumped as a look of pure shock crossed his face. "Oh my god, you're still alive! I thought we'd paid them to kill you!" "Oh my goddesses, Jenna, you and Link have finally returned home. Do you wish to see Princess Zelda tonight?" he asked, smiling. "Yes, we do, Perino, and with great urgency."
Wait, how does Perino, the gate guard, have any say over whether or not Princess Zelda will even see anybody?
"Well, we have some very important information," I returned sternly, my face glowing with concern.
Why are you being stern, and how does your face glow with concern?
Yes, at once then Mistress Jenna, Perino returned as he slid the gate open. Whatever.
We rode up the dirt path and to the second gate, where the guards took our horses to the royal stables, then led us inside the castle. We were then led to the throne room, where Zelda was waiting, her eyes shimmering with happiness that we returned home safely. But that was all soon to change when we told her about our encounter with Draconians and Batmans.
It was all soon to change when she saw that it was us instead of someone else that she was expecting.
Yeah.
Again, that's really short, so I'll take
Yeah,
this
go
last paragraph. After she heard all the information we possessed, security was upped at every border, even though there's not really any sign that they're coming your way, and along the perimeter near the Black Desert and the Gerudo Desert.
For some
Word had spread quickly through Hyrule about Ariakas and his Draconians, causing the citizens of Hyrule to be thrown into a sheer...
Why?
Oh, maybe that's where they got
They
all
haven't
Yeah.
attacked you!
Yeah.
They haven't done anything threatening to you! They're after the Griffins!
Yeah, but note that she misspelled the wool off a sheep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sheer into a sheer panic.
See, that's
They
much more
get their
amusing than
wool.
any other part of this.
Yes. People in Kakariko Village had started boarding up windows and bolting doors.
Why would they do that?
They're expecting a hurricane, I guess.
Yeah.
Like a hurricane!
More guards were stationed along the border to Death Mountain and just outside the entrance to the village.
Why?
The border to Death Mountain? The border to Death Mountain?
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess.
How many borders does this place have? So far we're bordering two.
And I mean, it's a
Yes,
mountain.
there's-
Seriously, there's a path. I wouldn't call it a border. I don't even think Death Mountain literally borders any part of... never mind. It doesn't matter. It doesn't...
Stop thinking too much.
I know I am.
The word had even spread to Kokiri Forest and Gerudo Valley. The Gerudos had started upping their defensive training and attack strategies. How do you know this? You're not there! The Gerudo leaders were pushing all the women from as young as 14 to enter the harsh Gerudo training grounds to hone in on their attack skills.
I should think that they would have started them long before 14, actually.
Probably. Security had even become tight-lipped among their hideout. How do you know this? Only persons possessing the Gerudo's membership cards were allowed within its walls.
Oh, so they just had a neat club.
Yes.
That's the extremely insular society of female thieves. All you have to do is get a membership card.
Yes.
I think that was actually a thing in Ocarina of Time that you ended up getting.
Was it really?
Yeah, because, there was that really annoying stealth part in the game where you had to
Yes!
sneak your way through, and then at the end they gave you an item so that you didn't have to keep sneaking around. You could actually just go through.
Yeah, there were two. I think there were two major stealth parts of Ocarina of Time, and they were both really annoying.
The first one was really early on when you're trying to sneak around the guards.
Yeah.
But the Gerudo Valley one was worse.
Yeah, the stealth parts really made me... I don't really like stealth games anyway, but that was just... Those were both real pains in the ass in an otherwise okay game, It was just like, that was its Mysterio moment, It was like, you could actually stop playing there and just be like, no, fuck this. I am so sick of stealth games. But anyway, whatever. Whatever, I don't care.
Well, I'll grab this paragraph.
Yeah, go ahead and grab it.
Even the peaceful Kokiri had started training in the arts of attack and offense. What? Aren't they protected by the Deku Tree?
Yes, and you can't even get to their village. Never mind.
Mito had made sure that he would not go without some way of protection for his forest people. So every Kokiri was equipped with a Kokiri sword and small crossbow.
No, they have bows. They don't have crossbows.
Each were trained under the No. All brothers whose knowledge in the arts of fighting were wisely known. What?
The Zora and Goron had even prepared for war. Why? What? Security was even more tight-knitted. Tight-knitted?
Tight-knitted.
Among them. No one was allowed to enter the Goron city unless they knew the song of the royal family. And the Zoras admitted no one unless they were in direct contact with the royal family. So you can't use the water anymore in Hyrule? Is that it?
Everybody's going to be dead before a war actually breaks out.
I know, they're going to kill each other before anybody actually attacks. Maybe this was his secret plan all along.
If we wipe out all the humans, we don't have to ever worry about them again.
Just make them wipe each other out. Yay!
Yay!
Even as peaceful as these races have been known to be, they became more warlike, steeled themselves for battle with the threat of such a deadly enemy as Ariakas. I watched as most of Hyrule prepared for impending doom. What? Their very lives being thrust into a state of turmoil. I would like to say that this is a huge case of overreacting. What are you? High schoolers?
Yes.
Like, did you just get grounded by your parents or something? What is going on here? They just said that there was the chance that Ariakas could turn towards them. He hadn't even been aggressive towards them. And all you've got to go on is fucking Jenna's word that it says so. I mean, as far as... Sorry, what?
Jenna knows everything, remember?
Apparently. I mean, yeah, it sucks that he's attacking the Griffins, but that's not really your problem. I mean, if you want to, you can always send a message to them and be like, yeah, we can send some people if you really...
Yeah, we can form an alliance or something. And
Yeah, I
take you
mean,
out.
that
that'd
might
be a little
express-
different. And then he probably would attack Hyrule because you're allying yourself with the Griffins.
Yeah, but I mean, this doesn't make any sense. And why would anybody else feel the need to put their people through training and like arm them all and all this stuff? That's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. I mean, we really don't even know how deadly Ariakas is. We just know how she's building
He's
him up.
supposed to apparently be more badass than Ganon, which is impossible Because Ganon is the sum of all evil in these stories. Or the games, my bad.
Yeah, well. I watched as most of Hyrule prepared for impending state of turmoil, blah blah blah. Fear had spread out amongst the entire countryside with knowledge that a Batman on Dragonback could attack at any time. I'm Batman. Most Hylians who crossed Hyrule Field to get from one place to another usually did not stay out in the open too long with that kind of threat upon them. But they would have seen it before, like,
We are smarts. We have so much smarts.
Hospital's problem.
It's okay, take 2 pills, call me in the morning.
But there were precautions taken to try to prevent any Draconians from entering Hyrule airspace.
So you have airships
Air
now?
traffic control towers. Watchtowers were put up along the Yeah, they do have air
Okay.
traffic control towers. Watchtowers were put up along the borders to the Black and Gerudo deserts. One was even stationed at the infamous Spirit Temple, where Naburu herself stayed in close contact with. With who? But even with the watchtowers in place, no one could be sure that a Draconian patrol small enough could slip past the watchtowers and cross
It's a dragon! How is it small?
And then
So-
why have watchtowers if a small platoon of dragons could actually get through without you noticing?
Yeah, we're going to erect all these towers, but they're basically useless, but we're going to do it anyway. Plans are put into the works by Princess Zelda to establish an air patrol of some kind.
How?
See, this is when you should ally with the griffins and slowly
Yeah.
gain their trust, because griffins can fly circles around your entire kingdom.
It's like kites or something?
Well, you know, they
Air
had
wagon.
this story about the ninja on the giant kites or something. Maybe they're doing that with the
No, I've got it. It's just Tingle with his balloon.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love Tingle, but I'm not sure I would trust him with the entire airspace safety of Hyrule.
I wouldn't trust him to sit the right way on a toilet seat, personally.
Hawkeye! I'm just imagining them being like, well, we've got one person in the entire kingdom that can manage to be airborne. Oh, that's great. He must be a great hero, and you know. Then it cuts away to a long shot just above like the city with the castle, and there's this like Tingle with a balloon on his back, and he's looking very serious. You know, he's got a wooden sword in his hand, and he's like, yeah.
Oh my goodness, they'd all be boned.
Not necessarily. I mean, he could at least warn them, but maybe too late. But
Well, the problem is, you know, he's used to being, you know, at least a relatively safe height above the ground. Just imagine him, like, with his bunch of balloons, like 1,000 feet up. Balloons just pop, and he just sails to the ground and breaks his everything. It's
oh
like,
no! Tingle is not like that. Tingle would have a backup plan. He'd have a glider or something.
Ground patrol had been covered with knights on horseback, but with something patrolling the skies above, the threat of Draconians crossing the borders from above might be minimized. But they weren't really any creatures. There weren't really any creatures big enough to accept dragons and griffins to carry a full-grown human.
So, as we've previously
Yeah.
stated, this is why you ally with the Griffins if you're that worried about being attacked, which has not really been indicated up to this point.
So, the only other creatures big enough... Oh, sorry. The only other creatures big enough that could fly were the Unipegs.
A
Okay,
unipeg.
This
Footnote
I gotta
26.
say.
Footnote 26. A unipeg is a cross between a unicorn and a pegasus.
No, it's not!
The
No,
unipegs,
it's not!
the unipegs are winged unicorns. These creatures are said to have mystical powers and can only be seen by a person pure of heart.
Shut up!
These mystical beauties
Shut
are
up!
also said to live among magical forests, that only appears in the light of the full moon,
That's bullshit.
taking care of the creatures that live among it. So basically, it's the last unicorn. If one is lucky to have a unipeg come to them, it is said that all your dreams and prayers will come true.
I hope
Oh,
the dream
Lord.
doesn't come true, because this is the worst dream I've ever seen.
I mean, first of all, that's just complete
Unipeg.
bullshit. And second of all,
It's called
the
an
word
alicorn.
the word you're looking for is alicorn.
Unipeg.
I
Unipeg.
didn't know the word alicorn. I
Are we there yet?
called it a pegacorn. Cause
Unipeg.
I
That
called it,
sounds like that sounds like some sort of slang term for someone who's really into pegging or something. Like, what the hell?
pegging with one.
Anyway, the Unipegs live to the south of Hyrule in the Mystic Rainforest.
Okay, let me read about the Mystic
The
Rainforest.
mystical rainforest is a magical forest that only appears in the light of a full moon. This forest is constantly changing shape, making it hard for non-magic users traveling in search of it to find
Oh,
it.
you mean like the Lost Woods that you allegedly live in?
Indeed. Stories also tell that if one should enter the magical rainforest or not in the ways of magic, may get lost and never come back out.
Like
Again,
the Lost Woods.
Lost Woods. Though most people only seek out the forest in search of the mystical creatures called Unipegs in order to have their prayers answered. So it's, people that go in there die of hubris, so that's okay. Anyway.
Maybe they had a really good reason to try and want their wishes answered. Maybe they... No,
Well,
I'm so done with this. Why would it even be a rainforest? That's not even the climate of Hyrule.
That's a biome that doesn't make sense. Anyway. But the only problem was, one, the Unipegs were a peaceful, non-warlike race. You mean like a lot of these other races that are suddenly preparing for war?
Yeah, and why does that suddenly make a difference now, since you've basically made every other race into a warlike race? Not to mention the fact that if you needed someone to, say, protect your peace and say, okay, look, we're afraid we might be attacked and we have no other alternative, although you could actually contact the Griffins because you're an idiot, but never mind. I'm so done. I am so fucking...
You keep trying to be done.
I really want to be reasonable. I really want something to make sense. I want to try, but it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. I'm sorry. These winged beauties live peacefully among the forest, caring for the trees and creatures that live among them. And two, the Unipegs also don't just trust anyone like the Griffins.
Oh, the Griffins that gave you a telepathic link to their High Council.
Yep.
And usually will run at the sight of a human. You have said that the only way to gain a Unipeg's trust is you have to be pure of heart. And how would they know? And you must also believe in them.
So basically, let me just sum this up. We're building this up so that we can say that Jenna is somehow pure of heart, and she will find a Unipeg and persuade them somehow.
So basically, she's a virgin maiden, pure of heart, without being a virgin, and is able just to call a unicorn to her, as legends foretold.
Given virgin, but yeah, this is gonna happen. She's gonna somehow be able, through her power of her sizzle tits.
She's got the power of heart.
Yeah, it's got the power of ours.
I don't think she's going to be able to form Captain Planet with just herself.
Yeah, well,
That
maybe.
is one planet I would never, ever want to see.
Oh, man, that's horrifying.
Jenna's powers combined. I'm
Oh.
Captain Jenna, or something.
Captain Sizzle
no.
Tits.
You and your sizzle tits.
Yeah, well, it's all I've got now. It's all I've got.
If your heart was pure but you didn't believe in the Unipegs, then they wouldn't come to you, and vice versa. It's even capitalized this time.
Wait. I don't think she understands even what vice
No.
Versa means. Given the Unipegs, well then, if their heart was pure and they didn't believe in you, or they did believe in you, or your heart wasn't pure, that doesn't work with vice versa. It's not a this or that thing. It's not a mutual thing. It's... Jenna, fuck you. Fuck you. I say this from the bottom of my heart. Bite me.
Anyway, not even that. One would even be so lucky to even... Oh, that's a stupidly constructed thought. One would even be so lucky to even find the mystic rainforest. This forest is under a magical spell. The properties of the forest keep changing, that so no one ever knows if they're in the right forest or not. It's the only rainforest in the fucking world.
I know.
It's the only place that biome exists. You'd be stupid not to know. Also, the forest only shows itself fully under the light of the full moon. That makes no sense.
Nope.
What
Zelda-
of this has ever made any sense? Tell me that. Tell me now. Hello?
That was your cricket moment for today,
I
folks.
see.
Yeah.
I thought the call had dropped at the...
And I had to mute my microphone because my phone was ringing, but it's like a telemarketer or something, so it's like...
That could not have been more perfect of a silence.
You okay?
Oh, mostly. I've been sick over the past couple of days.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Thanks.
I've been horribly sunburnt, so everything
Sucks.
hurts to touch my arms and all that.
I threw my back out again, so I've been a
Dang.
basket case too.
So, everyone here's had some sort of physical ailment.
Yeah.
Yep. Zelda was not too sure if the Unipegs
Sorry.
would even want to involve themselves in someone else's problems,
It sounds like they really don't.
let alone engage in a war.
Like,
But
why
she-
would you even spend so much time and resources trying to find a race that most likely would tell you to go fuck yourselves?
Yeah, but she wanted to try anyway. This was the last hope for establishing air patrol. No, it's not. Ask the Griffins! You can do that! So she sent a small convoy along with 2 diplomats representing Hyrule to the Mystic Rainforest. 2 days later, the convoy returned with the Unipeg leader, because they're somehow an organized civilization, which came as a surprise to everyone.
Okay,
Not
so
me.
they sent a convoy, 2 diplomats and a convoy, who apparently were all pure enough and believed enough to have the Unipegs appear. Not only this, but they located the Mystic Rainforest, which was said to be only visible under the light of the full moon, and enchanted so that you wouldn't know if you're in the right forest or not, despite it being the only rainforest in Hyrule, obviously.
Plus, they convinced the leader to
The
come back
leader,
with them.
yes, which implies that they have a stratified society which is accessible through this mystic...
Yeah,
So fucking stupid. I hate this story. I hate
know.
it so much.
I know.
It cannot end enough for me.
Well, if we should be almost at the end. I'm not quite sure how much more is left, but should be
There's a
almost
lot.
the end.
A lot to go.
Remember, some of that is footnotes, so. After the Unipeg leader met with Princess Zelda, Link and I, he agreed to help us with our knights to patrol the skies, because we have our own Batmans apparently. The only setback was they steadfastly insisted that they would not engage in combat with any dragons.
What possible offensive capability could an alicorn have?
its horn and hooves, I guess.
That's great and everything, but dragons can breathe fire and other substances from a distance. You have to be very close to use a horn.
Let's
Or
also
anything
not
like
forget
it.
teeth and everything. But anyway.
Well, I mean, the dragons have teeth too. Much sharper teeth. And
Well,
lots more
granted,
of
if
them.
the dragons
hides.
don't believe in the alicorns would actually be really useful. Well, there would be a human riding on their back, I guess. Though why
Did you see
can't...
this human hovering in midair? It'd be kind of-
Though granted, why
Hilarious.
can't the alicorns go and fly around the skies themselves? Why do they need a human on their back? They're a sentient race, apparently.
Yeah, because if they're insisting on not engaging in aerial combat, there's really no reason for them to have a person on their back if all they're going to do is reconnoiter.
Yeah, why don't they just get the information and report back?
Yeah.
Since horse meat was a dragon's favorite meal, the Unipegs...
No, it's not.
What?
The Unipegs would have made a fine delicacy for the dragons.
Why would they even... How would... These unipegs... Sorry. These unipegs... I can't even think about that word without that.
Yeah, that's just...
It's so stupid.
It is.
These unipegs aren't horses anyway. I mean, they're not specifically, technically horses. They're alicorns. They wouldn't even know what they would taste like. Presumably they would taste very different from a horse anyway. If you even could kill them. Like, I would be surprised. They're alicorns. They're mystical creatures that just... They disappear like the morning dew.
They taste like the tears of the fallen.
Oh my god.
And that was something the Unipeg leader didn't want to risk. Then why help them? Because if they're patrolling and a dragon attacks, that means they're at risk to be omnommed.
No, that was an excellently constructed thought.
He had said their people had been living in secret. No, they're not. They're not secret if people know about them and can go down there and find them. It's difficult, but it's doable. Living in secret inside the rainforest to protect themselves from evil, especially dragons.
Wait, what? No. So the
Did we
Unipeg.
tap something inside your head?
Just the word is so stupid. It's so dumb. It's just like it's...
Well, the thing is, I keep just thinking about this horse, right? With like a wooden peg stuck on their head for you to hang your coat on.
It's either that or like all of their legs are crammed into one wooden peg leg, and they just bounce around.
They're pogo horses. They're pogo corns.
Oh dear.
It's just a horrible image in mind.
It is either way.
So the Unipegs, for some reason, prepared themselves for a whole new way of life. For some reason. Carrying humans on their back, used to, especially for their riders. Why?
Okay.
They would just be like horses if they're like
Well, I
Jenna's
guess the
describing.
wings are in the way.
They got wings, but you put your legs around them. I mean, it's not like your legs are painted on, honey. You know, it's... But not too long afterwards, the knights and Unipegs were working hand in hand, such as it were, patrolling the skies with such marvelous and grace. Let me just let that sink in a bit.
It was such marvelous.
Such marvelous, very grace.
Wow.
Flying with the swiftness of a 27 Curry in flight. Let's see.
Curry.
The curry is a small, swift predatory bird that lives along the borders of Gerudo Valley. This small desert bird hunts small mice and lizards for food. Thought it will occasionally attack larger lizards and other birds, at which point it gets its ass kicked. Kari is a territorial bird that will attack to defend its territory and any females in it from enemies and other encroaching male. Why we needed to know this, who knows? We could probably have assumed all of that was actually relevant, which was like 3 words. Soon thereafter, unipegs carrying Hylian knights on their backs could be seen flying over Hyrule Field, which people easily would distinguish from, the dragons that they feared, because they can totally notice whether it's a winged dragon or something else with wings when it casts a silhouette across the sunlight. So we've terrified our own people by being vague, and with the knowledge that some of Hyrule's best were patrolling the skies, most Hylians became unafraid to travel across Hyrule Field. Bullshit! Though the dangerous threat still remained, Ariakas was evil horde, wrong horde. It's like he has a collection.
Yes, he's got a collection of Batman figures.
Yes, I was thinking that, actually. His evil horde of Batman and Draconians from the Shadow Realm.
Again from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Duel!
Screw the rules, I've got money. Let's I'll just take the next. Weeks passed with no sign of Ariakas and his evil knight, so why are you worrying about them? What sense does it make to spend so much money, so much time, so much manpower on shit that has never once indicated that anything is going to fucking happen? Then one day that was all about to change. Well, of course it was, because you alleged it.
Link and I had made one of our usual trips to Lake Hylia with our fairies and son to watch the sunset. Since I was now 7 months pregnant, I had to regularly get out for fresh air. Okay. Link and I had found our usual spot on top of the highest hill facing west, just 6 feet from the lake's bank.
Wait, so you're 7 months pregnant and you're regularly climbing the highest hill?
If she's on a highest hill, how is she 6 feet from the lake's bank?
Must not be very many high hills in Hyrule.
Must be an awfully deep lake. And snuggled down into each other's arms. I held our son in my arms while I breastfed him. Our fairies had situated themselves at each of our sides except Arya, who landed on my left shoulder while I fed little Link. A cool breeze rustled gently across the area, causing sweet smells of the approaching autumn to brush against our noses. Okay. With a gusty sigh, I backed up against Link's chest and snuggled my cheek against his while his gentle, deep blue eyes were transfixed towards the lake.
Just go ahead and take the next.
I had always enjoyed these peaceful times with Link. Everything was quiet and serene, no one around to bother us. The threat of Ariakas had slowly started to dissipate and everybody started to return to their normal lives. Or so we thought.
Dun dun dun!
So we thought.